So good evening everybody and welcome back to FTRL. It is time for Div 2 action here from Sochi. It is round 2 of season 17. And we are here at the Tesco car park in the Olympic Stadium that forms this circuit. But despite the slightly flat nature of this track, it produced some absolutely outstanding battles last night in Div 1. So the question is now, can the Div 2 boys live up to that hype and match the Div 1 counterparts blow for blow, wheel to wheel? We're about to find out. We're on board with the Russian livery Has, piloted by Katamis. He's got a podium in week 1, and with his team's home race, he'll be hoping for a strong performance. So he's coming around to the end of what will be the first flying lap. Let's see then what kind of time he can put on the board. Out of the final corner he comes. And his lap time is invalidated at the final corner. So Katami's there, pushed a little too hard at the final corner, ran wide, and track limits said no. So we'll pick up Unsafe Release, who is coming out of the final corner now, and he is starting a flying lap, so we'll go on board with him for a lap of Sochi. Up the start-finish straight, DRS pops open through turn 1, this fast, flat right kink. It's the first major overtaking zone and the major braking zone of turn 2. Very easy to invalidate here, plenty of curb on the inside, don't run too wide on the outside, nice from Unsafe. Into this long left-hander, try and hug the curb on the inside, set yourself up for the right-hander at turn 4. So a beautiful move last night from the Alpine of Oxox on Dutch Tricks. We see similar moves tonight into turn 5, use plenty of curb on the exit, but don't run wide, watch those track limits. Into the second right-hander at 6 again, try and stay within the confines of that curb. Unsafe giving it plenty of room. Turn 7, watch the big curb on the inside, around the back of the stadium, and then into the right-hander that leads us onto the back straight, and the second of the DRS zones. The rear wing pops open. Again, another great overtaking opportunity here, but a very tricky braking zone because you are turning as you brake, and it can easily unsettle the car. Save it a little deep into the final part there. It gets it hooked up nicely now. This long left-hander using the curb on the exit, and this tricky off-camber left-hander. Mind the curb on the inside, doesn't push it too wide for the right-hander. Tidy so far from Unsafe. Into the front corner, 1 corner to go. Fires it out nicely, and Unsafe goes up to P9 then, a 32.2 on his first run. Inside at the top 10 then, so first flying laps on the board, and it is Barcelona who is on top. The reserves, his first time he's actually raced in FTRL. He's been around for a little while but never actually got onto track, so this is the first time we get to see him in anger, and he has put himself half a second ahead of the rest of the field, which currently the charge led by Beretta Jodaddy, who had a really strong run last time out despite an early spin at Kota. Got himself at top 5. The first appearance of Daft Chip this season as well. Expecting big things from him last season. He was a bit of a revelation. Some outstanding pace from him. A front runner all season long. Ended up P3 in the championship. So strong run for him. Scuba Steve in P4. Brutus P5. Aaron Trucker, who will be hoping his race lasts a little bit longer than it did in Kota. He was a first lap retirement last time, so fingers crossed he gets a little bit further last time. Same thing happened to Wesker last week, and he got a P3, so maybe Aaron can follow him and bag himself a podium. T. Smith is P7, Macman P8, Unsafe P9, and Fever P10. So a couple of guys then on out laps. Pagani, Casey, Katamis, and Chubbs. Pagani in that battle for the win, ended up with a podium. Can he get in the mixer again this week? We shall find out. We've had to come up and start his first flying lap, because he is a former performance and a former Div 2 champ, so Pagani knows how to get it done. But the quality of the Div 2 field now is definitely higher than probably it's ever been. The guys at the front here can definitely challenge for the mid-pack in Div 1. Here we go then, down towards turn 2. Flicks it in nicely. Over the curb, nice line through there by Pagani. And hugs the curb through the long left-hander around the stadium. on the brakes into that right-hander. Runs a little bit wide over the curb, but doesn't invalidate his lap. Into the right-hander, again pushing hard there, using plenty of curb on exit. Through the right-hander, Pagani there, nice lines. I've just realised I once again am in the main thing. I forgot to jump into a party. Do apologise if I was babbling over everybody. There we go. So Pagani ended up P8, 31.4 from him on his first flying run then, so coming around, Chubb's coming around Casamese on another run, whereas Casey has abandoned his lap as he invalidated, so a few people falling foul of the track limits here. Where is Chubbs? Chubbs is coming up then to the final couple of corners. The final corner, does he validate? Not quite, stays in. P5 for him, 30.6, tidy lap from him. Catherine's coming around now behind him. Can he get this last corner right this time? The answer is yes, he can. And he goes second on a 30.1 then, so very handy lap there from Casamese. Just 2 quick laps, the second one counting, not invalidated. He puts himself provisionally on the front row then, so just 2 drivers left to set representative lap times. This is one of them. FTRL Aaron. Hopefully he's remembered to turn off his assists this week. And he was in the mix for the win last week. Till a little bit of late contact just dropped him out of the pack. In the chat this evening we have got Mr. Matman who's on track. Oscar saying Dave Smells and up the Matman. Fever in the chat as well as on the track. Evening Fever, KC and Zom as well. Evening Zom. So and there you can see there, just pushes a little bit wide there through that left-hander. Off camber nature of that corner. It's probably the trickiest, one of the trickiest corners on the track. That and the braking zone at the end of the back straight. And then out of the final corner. Stays within the line, but only goes P6. A 30.5 for him. So very tightly bunched there from Bread in third. All the way down to Chubbs in 8th. That's just 0.2 of a second covering them at the moment. So some very tiny laps in there so far. Pick up Daft Chip. T Smith then up in P4 as well, having a good run so far. He's just behind Daft Chip, so we'll stay on board with Daft Chip. As he comes into a back straight, so approaching the second DRS zone, also the second checkpoint. Halfway down the straight, and he is quarter of a second up. This could jump him into front row contention. Can he find any time in the final sector? We're into the final 7 minutes. While Barcelona has just lowered that lap time a little bit more at 29.8 now. That's it then. One more corner to go. Currently P5. Can he vault himself up the order? The answer is he can. He goes third. 30.3. Lost a bit of time in the final sector then. T Smith has bailed out of his lap into the pits just as he's usurped by Brutus, who goes up to P4. So the AlphaTauri is currently 4th and 5th. Half a tenth between them. And he's there just 100th shy of Def Chip's time. Pack then very, very close at the moment. He is on a flying lap. We've got a guest appearance tonight from one of our Div 1 stalwarts, Adamako. Yet to get a race in this season. He's just finding himself a little bit of a track time as Barcelona lowers the time at the top by another tenth, down to a 29.7. Just putting a little bit of time in between himself and the rest of the field, with just over 5 minutes to go in qualifying. So Adam will be starting down the back. Just getting himself a bit of track time. Outlaps then. Oh, Picardi just about stays out the wall, but is facing the wrong way. So losing it there at the end of his warming up lap. Thankfully shouldn't have compromised his quali lap, but that's not the ideal start. As he begins his flying run, and down towards turn 2 he comes. Nice through there, yep, nice entirely through there, not making too much curb. Doesn't invalidate. Will be one of the hot spots for track limit warnings in the race, I feel. We saw a few good moves into that corner last night, but it's a very tricky one, but it's very wide there. But he is 0.188 up at the moment then, so find a bit of time in sector 1. How is his middle sector going to be? Using all the track, all the curbs, pushing the limits. So it's all good so far. Swoops then around the back of one of the stadiums, as we were discussing last night. Of course, this was some of the venues for the 2014 Winter Olympics. Down the back straight he goes, coming up to the second sector split point. And he is up by 0.4 of a second now then, so for Guy looking to move into the 1 minute 30s. May only jump in one place though, because it is 0.8 of a second he needs to find if he wants to go up into the top 10. Currently held by Aaron on 30.6. And he is in fact pulled out, so Pagani bails out of that lap. He'll go back for another set of tyres. Do one more flying run then, so into the final, just over 3 minutes to go. Let's pick up Scuba Steve, who could be a strong bet for a good result here. He had a couple of good moments about pre-season. Unfortunately the races didn't quite go his way. Well, the pace is definitely there. Can he now string it together in the race? How is he getting on this lap? He is nearly 0.4 up, so this could potentially, where's this going to put him? This could put him on the second row. If he can find another 10th, he might even jump onto the front row. So let's see how he gets on then. See this tricky chicane there. Oh, it's a nice line, middle of the corner. Gives him a better angle for the right-hander. Just one corner to go. And where does he move up to? Oh, he's validated the final corner and off the curb and into the wall. Bit of end plate goes flying off. So, Scuba Steve, that's so unlucky. Just metres from the line, got out over the curb, invalidated his lap, and then it spat him into the pit wall. So no improvement from him. Then Aaron on a flying lap now. Currently P7 on a 30.5. You'll definitely want to be beating T. Smith. He has just gone purple through sector 1 though. Into the middle part of the lap. A terrific battle last week with Maxi Syme. Unfortunately he isn't with us this week. Going into the second sector split point, he is 0.357 up on his current time. Again looking to challenge for the front row. Now just a couple of corners to go. Oh, he managed to hold up the final corner. Oh, big twitch there out the penultimate corner. So the power stays in the line, goes second on a 30.001, so just missing out on a 29. And then goes on to the front row provisionally. Let's find Katamis. He's invalidated his lap. So a lot of drivers then on their way around. Scuba Steve we've just seen. Here's Aaron Trucker then in the McLaren, hanging on to that top 10. There is unsafety there. Fever is a bit further than that, so stay on board with Fever then. And a very solid run last week. Oh, a little bit wide there through the left-hander though. Give him a tricky corner that takes a lot of curb through the right-hander. Oh, it cost him a little bit of time. Out of the final corner. Does he improve on his 32.8? He does, up to 31.9. Jumps ahead of Unsafe. Up into P13. Where is KC? He's out of the final corner. He's invalidated another lap, but he'll get another shot. Right, who were we watching before? Who's where on track? We'll find Aaron, because I think Aaron Trucker was further along than most. To the braking, he's at the end of the back straight. Big chunk of curb. A little bit wide there as he backed out of this. I think he has yet. So Aaron's backed out of that lap. Is he going to go again? No, qualifying is over. So that is the end of his session. Let's find Pagani. He's going to run behind him. There's Aaron on the lap. I think Aaron's on his in lap. Indeed, then. So we got Unsafe, I think, coming around next. He was up in sector 2. Can he improve on P14? He can. He goes back ahead of his good friend Faber, up into P13. Here comes Death Chip. Goes third ahead of Casamese on the 30.028. Jumps at the final corner. Currently P9. Goes P8 ahead of Scuba Steve. Now here comes T Smith out of the final corner. Currently P7. Jumps to P5 on a 30.17. Mattman and just 30.8 then, so I think I'll be a little bit disappointed with that. Barcelona at the final corner. Does not improve on that run. KC at the final corner. Does he get lapping? He does. Didn't see where he quite jumped up to there. He was the last across the line though. And he ends up with a... Anytime now, game you want to tell me. We won't know until we go to the scoreboard then. So it is Barcelona 1975.06 who takes pole position here for Sochi. Aaron joining him on the front row with Daft Chip in third. Casaby's in 4. T Smith goes off P5. Brutus Bear P6. Bread is your daddy. P7 alongside Pagani. Captain Chubbs and Scuba Steve are rounding out the top 10 then. They will be the drivers who start on the soft tyres on which they qualified. And then a free tyre choice coming the way of Aaron Trucker, who starts P11. Mattman starts P12. KC is 13th. Unsafe Release is 14th. Faber is 15th. And Adamako starting at the back. Second Alpine. So, qualifying done. Time for the race then. And who do we think is going to be standing on top of the podium? Who's going to join him? Catamese predicting Catamese will crash before turn 1. I think Catamese has some inside information. Well, as we set up then, so, well, I say Barcelona, NSR Sandal, as he's known in the chats, showing a very strong hand in qualifying, but qualifying is one thing, the race is something completely different, but that was some very strong pace from him. And this is the first time I've seen him race, so I'm going to put some money on him to win this. I think Aaron will chase him home in P2. And I think Daft Chip will get P3. So I'm going to go for Barcelona, Aaron, Taylor, and Daft Chip for my top 3. Yeah, Casey's saying it was shocking in qualifying there. Yeah, validations in the track limits are very tight in a couple of places around here. You need to use a lot of the curbs to keep the speed up. And if you push the envelope a little bit too hard, you will find yourself invalidating laps. So got one running at the end there. He's in up to 13th. Cars head away then on the formation lap. Get the details up, see who is running on what tyres outside of the top 10. So on pole then is Barcelona, deputising for Alex Pixie this week. What can he do from pole position? Of course, that run down towards turn 1 with cars in slipstream may not be the best place, but we shall see. Alongside him is the Aston Martin of Aaron GT. Front runner last week. Good battle with Maxi Syme. Can he have a similarly good battle with Barcelona this week? Daft Chip is P3. So my prediction is the top 3 stay as they are, but we shall see. His first race of the season after missing Kota. What can he do from the second row? He's alongside the ever exciting Catamese. Of course, the man with Demon starts in his locker. Will he be first by the time they get down to turn 1? We shall see. T Smith then lining up P5 in the Alfa Romeo. Really good qualifying from him. He is joined on the third row by Brutus in the AlphaTauri. just ahead of his teammate Brit is Yo Daddy up in P7. He'll be hoping for a more straightforward race this week, hopefully getting a top 5 without the spin. But we shall see. Pagani then goes off P8 in the second of the Aston Martins. Again, another one who featured for the win last week. Will he be in podium contention again this week? Find out soon. Chubbs, good qualifying from him in P9. And Scooter Steve then qualifying in the top 10 on the medium tyres. So he's going for the alternate strategy. We saw last night, I think 9 laps was about as far as the soft tyres got for those who started on them. And I think that was the Funky Fox who started on the fresh soft tyres. So we shall see how far he can get then. Outside of the top 10 with the free tyre choice, Aaron has gone aggressive. He will be starting on the soft tyre. Matman going for the alternate strategy on the mediums, with KC also going aggressive in the first stint. He starts on the softs. Unsafe in P14 on the medium tyre. Fever in P15 also starts on the mediums, and Adamako bringing up the rear starts on the medium tyres. Then to the drivers coming around to the grid. Tyres are warmed up, brakes are warmed up, drivers are warmed up. We are about to get this show on the road as the final car comes to take its place on the grid. Everybody in position. We'll ignore these lights because they're not going to go off and the race is going to start. Revs are up though. And away we go. And it's a good start from Daft Chip, who splits the front row, and he leads as they come through turn 1. Goes side to wheel to wheel with Barcelona. I'm getting swallowed up. Casaby's trying to find a gap in the middle. 2-3 wide in the background, but Daft Chip's got the inside for one. There's a bit of rubbing. Cars scatter across the curbs, but everybody seems to have got through okay, and Daft Chip now has a big lead. Up to the inside comes Casaby's up to P2. And Barcelona, it's been a good start for Brutus. He's up to 4th. Aaron shuffled all the way back to 5th then, so he's lost out big time. They run down towards turn 5. Everybody still pointing in the right direction though. What a jump from Daft Chip that was. Absolutely outstanding. Hooked that start up perfectly, split the guys on the front row and into the lead of the race, and he leads. Casaby's is second. We've got, who's going down the order? Oh, Aaron. Aaron's facing the wrong way. He's had a spin. Seems to have caught it, kept it out the wall though, and he's on his way again. So Aaron's got it all to do from the back of the grid. We saw a couple of spins there last night, and it's caught its first victim this evening then. So Daft Chip leads from Casaby's Barcelona down to 3rd. Brutus up to 4th. P. Smith is now up to P5. Who's shuffling around the order? Chubbs going side by side with Brediger Daddy. Still side by side in the pack. We've got, oh dear, Casey Bernard wide there, almost in the wall of background. Still side by side. Oh, contact round goes unsafe. Oh, and he's collected. Didn't see, was it Fever unsafe, tried to go up the inside of Casey into the final corner. There was contact. Did anybody get wing damage in that? Did Fever get through it okay? Can't see his wing, not giving me a very good angle at the minute. His wing seems to be intact mostly. Unsafe wing also looks to be good intact. Oh, who's that? That's Casaby's. Casaby's has had a moment out of P2 at turn 4. So he didn't crash at turn 1 as he said in the chat, but he has had a spin on lap 2 and throws away second place then. So Daft Chip still is your race leader. Barcelona now back up to 2nd, then Brutus Beer up to 3rd and giving chase, and a bit of a gap. You've got T. Smith in P4, Captain Chubbs up in P5, then he's at 4. Joint biggest mover with Scuba Steve, who's already picked up a penalty, and Adamako up 4 into P12. Big losers, Aaron down 14, Casaby's down 9. Barcelona down 1, and they're the only 3 people to have lost places so far then. So drama in the opening couple of laps, a couple of race win contenders spinning out of. Fastest lap from Daft Chip, quickly taken by Barcelona, who's trying to close in. Brutus going with them then, so it looks like we might have a 3-way battle. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, Adamako's gone round. And he dropped all the way to the back again. So then we've got 1.5 seconds covering your top three. Daft Chip leads by 9/10 of a second from Barcelona. Brutus in third. Who's going down the order now? Chubbs. What's happened to Chubbs? Oh, Chubbs is facing the wrong way. Oh, has he lost it there? He must have caught the curve on the exit of turn 2. And Chubbs now throws it away from a good position as well. He did say in the Discord earlier he was probably going to have a spin. Seems to have kept his wing intact though. And he's on his way again, but now at the very back of the pack. So we've got 3 breaking away for the lead. Daft Chip leads, Barcelona second, Brutus in third. And T. Smith then leading the next pack. And he's got Scuba Steve, Borelli Zadari, Pagani, Aaron Trucker, KC closing in on him. He's got the DRS. So is Aaron then. Further back, Katami's on unsafe around the outside. Gives him the inside then for the right-hander. Making use of those soft tyres. Back up into P11 he comes. The charge is back on then for Katami's. Done all that hard work. Brutus Beer now sets the fastest lap of the race. He's now charging onto the back of Barcelona, just half a second back. Both of them have the DRS though. Starting to close in on Daft Chip, but not close enough. Now it looks as if Barcelona's got the glitched invisible helmet. Don't know how well we can see it. We probably can't see it. No, we can't see it on the camera. But if you look closely, you can see the driver's face and the balaclava. So he's got the invisible helmet. So we have broken away. T. Smith's got a bit of a gap back to Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve on those medium tyres though, up in P5. It is looking very promising for him here. He's got a bit of a train forming behind him though, led by Breda Jadadi. Pagani in 7th, Aaron in 8th, Casey behind him. Then he got a bit of a gap back to Matman, who was held up at the end of the first lap. An unsafe span at the final corner. Now got Katami's chasing him down. Unsafe just behind him. And Adamako. Aaron on the back of him. Chubb's trying to close in as well. He just dispatched Feber. Has Feber maybe picked up some light wing damage in that contact with Unsafe? Seems to have dropped off a little bit. But still on the back of the pack. Adam Ako being looked at by Aaron. Just for a late move there. Adam Ako giving him room though. Oh, Aaron having a twitch. He tried to get on the power. Had a big lift there. Well, that's bringing Captain Chubbs back into it then for the lead. Here comes Barcelona with the DRS. This should be a fairly easy overtake. Daft Chip covers the inside, but Barcelona just drives around the outside. And he takes the lead back, and so having bogged down off the start, they didn't really bog down off the start, I think just Daft Chip just hooked it up nicely. And Katami's mugged him through turn 3 here. He reclaims the lead then. Daft Chip still go with him though. Brutus closing in as well. Less than a second now covering your top 3. Chubbs now racks up his first penalty of the evening. Barcelona trying to get the hammer down, trying to pull away. Daft Chip wasn't able to break away. Into the DRS we go. Wing will pop open. That should just close him in a few tenths by the end of the straight. I don't think it'll be close enough for a move. But it will close him up then into the final sector. This tricky left-hander. Oh, Daft Chip coming out a lot of speed into that corner there. It was a lot deeper there than Barcelona did. Further back we've got Pagani Brito. Oh, Pagani drifting there out of the left-hander. He's pushing hard. Got KC closing in behind him then, who's now got ahead of Aaron. Sector 3, yellow flag. Who is that? Oh, it's Chubbs. Chubbs had another drama. Oh, slaps the walls. He tries to get the car pointing the right way again. Top 3 then are still glued together. Further back, the Alpines have just changed places. Oh, and Chubbs has retired. I think he's in the pit lane. So, not Chubbs' night. Aaron trying to buy into this battle as well. Oh, across the curb. And go wheel to wheel around the long left-hander. Aaron's got the inside though. Canon safe. Hang on around the outside. I'll have the inside for 4. Not quite close enough. Oh, what's up to T. Smith? T. Smith has thrown it away from P4. So another one drops out from a strong position. And now he's down to P11. The T. Smith now having a drama as well. He's got Adamaka on the back of him. Aaron and Unsafe closing in. Adamaka then getting the move done on T. Smith down the back straight with the DRS. I think T. Smith there backing out of it. Has he got some damage? Perhaps. Letting a few people go. Yeah, he's missing an end plate, so I think he'll be pitting in this lap. Got a yellow flag in Sector 3 and a virtual safety car. Who or what has caused that then? Who's dropping down the order? Oh, it's British Daddy. So another one's had some drama as he's into the pits. Is he missing a wing? Oh, and Aaron's now got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So a few drivers taking this opportunity to pit. What's going on there? There's a shadow of a wing, but no front wing yet. Brad has damaged his wing in that incident, unfortunately, so he pits. Race is temporarily nullified. Drivers having to drop their speed by 40%. So then let's have a look at the current order. So Barcelona leads from Daft Chip and Brutus Beer. They are 3.8 seconds ahead of Scuba Steve, who is in P4. And seeing people around him just throw it away. Because he's on the medium tyres, so he's going to go a bit longer into this race as we are off and running again at full speed. Everybody getting a cheap pit stop from that one though. Keep Steve pushing on. Let's have a look at the battle for the lead. We had 3 battling last night. It was Ox, Tico and Dutch. Tonight is Barcelona, Daft Chip and Brutus. Pagani now finds himself in P5. Casey chasing him down. These two, of course, part of that battle for the win last week. And also Drucker in the background there, not dropping away. There's Matman in the second of the Mercedes, P8. Adamaka now up to P9 as people around him throw it off the track. Evening, Mikey. Thanks for tuning in. You've already missed several near spills and accidents. The battle at the moment seems to be for the lead. These 3 still circulating together then. Barcelona still leads, but Daft Chip is not being dropped, and neither is Brutus. Pagani and Casey also very, very close together. Of course, Casey has come up from 13th on the grid, so he's already up 7 places, I believe. Indeed, he's now the biggest mover, the joint biggest mover. With Adamaka who's up 7, and Scuba Steve up 6. See now Barcelona just about, he's just on the cusp of getting out of DRS range, but he's not managed to break it this time, and now Daft Chip starts to close in with that wing open. Down the back straight, pulling himself back onto the rear ring of that Mercedes. And that Casey and Pagani. Casey not close enough. Closes in. Katami's now picks up a penalty and recovering after that spin. He's pitted for his medium tyres, so he took the opportunity under that VSC to get a cheap pit stop. He leads the 4 cars who pitted as Pagani peels off into the pits. Barcelona has gone as well, so the race leader is in. Now we saw the undercut was quite strong last night. Oh, a virtual safety car. That is going to help those out massively. Who has caused that then? Not quite see. Possibly T. Smith. Seems to have dropped back a little bit. But that is going to help out Barcelona massively, and Pagani. Of course, they have now had a massive time saving, or the amount of time they've lost anyway. They're pitting under the VSC. That worked out absolutely beautifully for them. Going back onto track just behind Fever. Barcelona is out behind Unsafe in P9, but what is the gap then to the leader? It is 26 seconds. Oh, and Aaron, having got a speeding penalty, has now got a bonnet for speeding under the VSC, and that is the end of his race, unfortunately. I think going to be a very angry man in that Aston Martin. And for the lead, Daft Chip and Brutus still battling. You imagine now they've got to respond to that pit stop from Barcelona. Through the left and right chicane they go. Here they come. Yep. No. Ooh, Brutus thought about changing his mind, but has decided to pit. I think that's the right call then. So Scuba Steve will take over on the lead. Of course, he's on the medium tyres, so he's going to be going further into this race. Where is Barcelona? There he is, coming through the chicane. To the final couple of corners. Where is Daft Chip? He is trundling down pit lane. Where is Barcelona now? He's coming up the start-finish straight. It's going to be close, but I think he's going to retake the lead, or the net race lead here. Does indeed. He comes past the pit lane. Where is the McLaren? There he is. Brutus seems to have lost a fair bit of time in that pit stop. He comes out just in front of Pagani, who has to get on the anchors hard. Gets a penalty there as he skips over the curb. Pagani now has factored into the battle for the win, or for the lead anyway. That was close. You can see how much time Daft Chip has got over Brutus in that pit stop. I don't know if Brutus got held up by somebody else coming in. So then Barcelona has got 3.5 seconds over Daft Chip, then that's how much time he saved. A, from the undercut, and B, from that VSC that came out just as he went into the pits. So that's helped him out massively into the slipstream of Unsafe with the DRS. Oh, that was close. He sives through into the P6 again, charging his way up the order. In a very, very strong position. Good evening, Ox. Then you're right, shout out to Matman. Yeah, it's going well at the minute. Up in P2. Into the pits comes Casey Bernard and Aaron Chucker, then the last of the drivers on the soft tyres from the start. And away they go. He has gone, I'll show you. Oh, was he having to wait there? Did he have to wait for somebody to come in? He is on his way again though. So Scuba Steve is your leader. Adamako is now second. What's happened to Matman? Was there Matman had a moment? Or did Adamako just catch him? Either way, Adamako then up to P2 from 16th on the grid. Everybody has just sort of strung out a little bit for the moment. The gap we really need to watch is the one between 4th place, Barcelona 1975-06, and Daft Chip in P6. They were the guys running 1 and 2 when the pit stops cycles started. The VSC came out just as Barcelona pitted though. He got a massive gain from that. Daft Chip then into the slipstream of Unsafe. With the DRS though, that should be a fairly easy overtake. Unsafe not fighting it too hard, he knows that isn't his battle. Daft Chip then is 3.5 seconds off the bat, that gap holding about the same. So Barcelona can just manage that gap now. He of course is the first driver who has made his pit stop, so he doesn't necessarily need to stop again now. 3 cars ahead of him have yet to make their pit stop. They all started on the medium tyre this, they will be going longer, trying to get to a position to switch to the softs. I think the first driver to do that last night pitted on lap 14 under a VSC. So, to see when they pull the trigger then. Closest battle on track is Feber and KC. They are side by side through turn 1. Casey down the inside with the DRS. Fresher tyres as well. And he makes light work of Fever. And back into the top 10. Ooh, Aaron there's had a bit of a moment, I think, through turn 2. And he ran in a little bit hot. T. Smith, and he was running so strong early on. His race has just unravelled a little bit. He could do with a safety car. We shall see what this race can bring then. Brutus closing on Unsafe now, because Unsafe has not yet pitted. Brutus then, he was running P3 early in the race with the DRS. That's a fairly routine overtake. And he is back up to P6 then, but he too lost 3.5 seconds to Daft Chip. Unsafe there, cooked it a little bit hot into the braking zone, ran a bit deep. Thankfully missed the back of Brutus. Barcelona now closing in on the back of his teammate for the night. Through the final corner he goes. And out of the slipstream he comes, down the inside and up into P3. So he goes a little bit deep there, that narrow line that you take when you're overtaking somebody. We saw it last night. Just compromises your run through 2 and 3. And it can result in people getting back past you, but I think the tyre advantage he's got there is so great that that man decided not to fight it. I think he knows that's not his battle. He'll be scoring good team points. Aaron making a move on Fever further back. Katamise and Pagani are together. Both long time FTRL stalwarts. Got Unsafe release just up ahead of them as well. So Katamise and Pagani have pitted. Unsafe has not yet. Katamise there taking a big chunk of curb. I think that's the point where we saw Aaron spin earlier on. Going then into the DRS zone. Wing pops open. Is he going to be close enough to Unsafe for the braking zone? There is no, not this lap. He has to just sit in behind for now. You can see how much more grip he's got there. Unsafe running a little bit wide there. Just doesn't have the front end purchase. Look how much more grip Pagani's got at this stage of the race. Gets the punch out of the right hander though. Up the inside into the bottom of a corner. And that is moved on for Pagani. Puts the car in between himself and Katamise. Which I'm sure he'll be very thankful for. Unsafe is wide out the final corner. I'll give Katamise a run up the inside. Both of them will have DRS from Pagani. Katamise though on the fresher tyres. He has the inside. Deploys a bit of battery just to make sure he's ahead though. He thinks about a move on Pagani into turn 2. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Contact Pagani. Oh, big slide into the... Oh, around he goes. Unsafe getting caught up in that as well. And he gets a 5-second penalty for his trouble. I think that was a little bit harsh on the game. I don't think he could do a lot about that, to be honest. But that's Codemasters for you. So Katamise then, he just about hung on to it. No, I say he didn't hang on to it. He kept it at the wall for the most part. It looks like he's got his front wing intact. So good drive from Katamise there to save the wing. And that has dropped in behind KC. And now he's got Aaron Trucker right on his rear wing. Change for P2 down the back straight. Barcelona then up to P2. So he is charging. That man has now got Daft Chip behind him. Can he play the team game here? Try and hold the McLaren up. Let Barcelona pull away. At the inside then. Aaron Trucker just making a move on Katamise. Oh, more contact! What's happened there? Just caught the end of that incident. Well, the Haas ends up in the wall. Was the contact? Did he lose it under braking? Did the McLaren sustain any damage in that as well? Not coming into the pits. He looks like he might have got away with it. Katamise's race, another one that's just unravelling slightly. From strong positions, KC getting a move done on Unsafe down towards turn 2 with the DRS. That's a fairly easy overtake and through he goes. Where's your daddy now? Katamise into the pits. So he got some damage and all that, unfortunately. So they'll be hoping for a safety car now. As I think will be a number of these drivers. Meanwhile, up front, the Williams man, Scuba Steve, still leads. 8 seconds is the gap then, so Barcelona taking a second out of him. So Scuba Steve, good pace from him still. It's potentially a strong finish. Now, when does he pull the trigger in terms of going for fresh tyres? Now, we're getting into the window for when the soft tyres might get to the end comfortably. But it is not this lap. He's going to carry on then. Now Def Chip has cleared Matman. He's setting about trying to chase down Adamako, who I think maybe just dive into the pits. He has indeed, so Adamako is in. Def Chip then will come back through to P3. Matman pit as well. No, Matman's going to carry on. So gap now between Barcelona and Def Chip is 3.8 then, so he's lost a few tenths to the Mercedes. Adamaka then switching over to the soft tyres. He's the first of the guys who started on those medium tyres to make the move onto softs to the end of the race. Where is he going to come out? Looks like he's going to come out in P9. I don't think Aaron's going to get there. Last time I watched Matman, he crashed just before the finish line on the last lap. Was that Spa by any chance? I remember that. I do remember that. That was something to behold. Safe release with the penalty to rack them up then. Scuba Steve still the leader. Oh, is this the lap that he pulls the pin and goes for the pits? We're getting into the window, definitely. Yeah, here he comes. So the race leader is in. He will then go on to the soft tyre, which means that he will be very, very quick for the final part of this race. Where can he get up to? He was running P5, or he was running P4 when the pit stop started, so a podium is not out of the question. Brutus has not had the same pace as Matman peels off, so Brutus doesn't have to clear the Mercedes. Mercedes is out of his way. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, Matman's come out the pits. Matman has come out of the pit lane as he tried to go in. Call the yellow flag, thankfully it's not too much time lost. Scuba Steve is going to come out in P4. Now what is going to be the gap to Brutus? Pagani coming around. It's going to be close. Scuba Steve though is just going to get out ahead of him. Does indeed. Oh, he's a little bit wide through turn 2. And then coming out, he's going to rejoin. It's going to be close. Brad is your daddy, who's coming up the start finish straight. Brad on the hard tyre though. Man out ahead of him though. So Matman out in P10. Phoebe now also in the pits. Getting a new front wing. He's picked up some wing damage along the way somewhere. Katami's showing the pace that he has. Fastest lap of the race, a 32.2. Time around then, so Barcelona now leads on lap 17 of 27. Daft Chip is P2, but now 4.5 seconds back then, so Barcelona has just eased away slightly at this stage of the race. The gap we need to watch then is Scuba Steve to Brutus. It's 7.4 seconds, so it's a healthy gap to try and close. On those soft tyres, can he do anything about reeling in the podium sitters? Still got Pagani keeping him honest. Casey not a million miles behind either. Casey on 2 lap fresher tyres than Pagani, so maybe looking to close that gap. Adamako now P7 as well. He's having a really good run. Just going quietly about his business, and now on the soft tyre. He will be flying at this stage, then so Casey ahead of him. Pagani up the road as well. Unsafe then, the final one to make his pit stop. Got all the way to lap 18. Before pulling the pin into the pits he goes. So Matman will go up into P9. He's going to come round for P10. And the Alfa Romeos are together. So, battle for supremacy within the team. Unfortunately, it's only over P13. At the moment, let's what gaps have we got? So everybody's kind of strung out at the moment. So the closest battle is the two Alfa Romeos. That Unsafe might be coming out in the middle of that in a moment. No, he's just coming out behind Katamis, in fact. We've got Adamaco closing on KC. KC is trying to close down on Pagani. And Pagani's trying to hold on to Scuba Steve, but Scuba Steve is now getting the hammer down. It's got that gap down to 5.9. So he's closing on Brutus. He does have a penalty though. So not only does he have to catch and pass Brutus, he needs to pull away to the tune of 3 seconds as well. Adamaco now homing in on Casey Bernard. Casey got a late penalty last week to deny him the victory. So the final corner he goes. On the start finish, he goes defensive early up to the pit wall, but I think he's just going to let Adam go it. They're now side by side, but yeah, with the DRS, that was a fairly easy overtake for Adamaco. And he is up to P6. In case he knew that wasn't his battle, he's going to try and use the Alpine to try and pull himself onto the tail of Pagani. And that gap is coming down. Adamaco already into DRS range. Ahead of them, Scuba Steve now got that gap down to 4.9 seconds, so another second out of Brutus. He is flying, he's trying to catch those podium sitters. Race leader has picked up a penalty. So Barcelona has got a penalty to his name. He's got enough in hand though, but that 4.5 second gap is now only a net 1.5 second gap. So if Death Chip can just ease a few tenths out here and there, get that gap down to 3 seconds, or as close to 3 seconds as he can, put a bit of pressure on, you might see some mistakes start to form. Adamaco then onto the back of Pagani, down the inside. Now the outside for the next corner, Pagani's going to try and hang on. But through goes Adamaco. The tyre advantage is just so great. 2-lap old soft tyres versus 9-lap old mediums. A bit of a no-brainer really. But Pagani has managed to maintain a semi-decent gap over KC. The gap 1.5 seconds. So KC not able to hang with Adamaco. But he has a carrot dangling in front of him. He wants at Pagani and has DRS on Adamaco, so this battle isn't necessarily over. Although you would imagine now that Adamaco is ahead, he should be able to use his tyre advantage through the twisty bits to just ease away. And Pagani's going to try and drag himself away from Casey as much as he can do. Holding steady at about 1.5 seconds. How is Adam in Div 2? He's just here for tonight, Ox. He's just, because he's not been able to race so far this season due to work, he just wanted to get his eye in tonight, so he's just filling a space for us. He'll be back in Div 1 next week. So Adamaco has already then managed to ease out of DRS range of Pagani, so Pagani now is going to be fighting KC. Using just his pace alone, gap is 1.5 seconds. Everything is just strung out a little bit now, so race leader Barcelona still leads. 4.2 seconds the gap now, so Daft Chip has just taken a couple of tenths out of him on that lap. If he can just start easing that gap down towards 3.5 seconds, suddenly the pressure will very much be on. Brutus has not had the pace in the second half of this race. Inside the first three were nose to tail as the pit stop cycle started. Less than a second and a half covering them at one point, and now we have got almost 11 seconds covering them. And all the while Scuba Steve is chipping away at that advantage. He's now down to 3 seconds. So the Williams man is pushing hard. There's his carrot, and there is Brutus in the foreground. There is Scuba Steve. He does have a penalty to his name though, so only got to cover that 2.7 seconds now. He needs to get 3 seconds ahead of him as well if he wants to maintain a podium place should he get there. But it's just 7 laps to go now. Casey chipping away at Pagani's advantage as well, now down to 1.3. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. Casey had a bit of a poor run there through that left-hander. Pagani just eased away a little bit. Casey pushes the battery. Pagani managing his battery well though. Pagani's on about 50% battery. Casey down at 5. So Casey's pushing hard to try and get onto Pagani's tail. I think once he gets there he can manage his battery a little bit, but Pagani can use that to attack and defend. Aaron then, whose race has gone a little bit better than last week to say the least. We'll see with the first lap retirement in Kota. Currently in a very lonely P8. He's 12 seconds behind Casey now. He's got Matman closing in on him. 2.6 seconds the gap now. Matman is starting to close him down. Brady's daddy, P10. That shame about that spin early on. Just dropped him out of contention for what would have been a strong result. Still some solid points for him on the board. Katami is what might have been for him. Currently holds the fastest lap of the race, so he's definitely had the speed. The battle for P6 is now on. Because Casey is now in DRS range of Pagani, so he's caught him. And up ahead in P4, Scuba Steve is now just 1.7 seconds behind Brutus. So we could yet have a battle for that final step of the podium, if it might just be on track though. That penalty to his name, of course, there's still time for Brutus to pick one up as well. This track is fraught with areas to pick up warnings and penalties. So far though, none to his name, as T. Smith making a move on his teammate. Finally got close enough. Through goes T. Smith. Can Fever respond? I think on soft tyres, you'd imagine Fever should be able to come back at T. Smith. Just following through this sector of the lap. And now jump ahead, look at Casey and Pagani, just 4/10 covering them out of the final corner. Casey using the battery, see he saved up a little bit of energy. He's now got the DRS as well. Here we go then. Is he going to be able to get into position to make a move to the inside? And that is move done, but is he going to have that narrow line? Is Pagani going to get a run on the road on exit through turn 3? Casey covers the inside. Pagani's coming back at him still though. Look at the overspeed that Pagani's got to the inside. Oh, a contact and a round. Oh, they both go round. And Pagani backs into the wall. And Casey on his way. Pagani on his way. It was a bold move. We saw a move last night from Oxox on Dutch at that corner. That came off. That one didn't quite work out there. We'll have to look at that one again. Pagani trying to get up the inside. Casey tried to leave in the room. Just contacted him through the corner. Pagani went around and Casey followed him. Scuba Steve now has caught the back of Brutus. So that battle is over. Pagani getting passed by Aaron and Matman. I think Pagani just getting out of their way. His tyres are probably a little bit hot right now. Trying to settle himself down. He may have also picked up some light wing damage and all that. It's down the start finish rate then, Brutus and Scuba Steve. Brutus just needs to look at that leaderboard and see he's got 3 seconds. He covers the inside. That's going to compromise his exit though. Scuba Steve's going to have a good run off too. Brutus is going to send him the long way around though. And we've just seen one incident of this nature come a cropper. Look again, look at the speed. Brutus covers the inside though. Scuba Steve can't make the move. He's had a good run off 4 though. Brutus again covers the inside. Scuba Steve trying to go around the long way. Trying to switch back, is he? No, again Brutus covers the inside. So super defensive driving for Brutus. He just needs to look at the penalty situation though. He doesn't need to fight him, but he might be on a couple of warnings, so he probably doesn't want to give him the place just in case. DRS zone. Now this now should be a fairly easy overtake for Scuba Steve in the DRS zone. He goes to the outside, and that is move done, and up to P3 he goes. He does have a penalty to his name, so now he needs to get his foot down. See if he can pull away, make a gap further back. Matman and Aaron Trucker are now nose to tail in the battle for now P7. Fever is in the pits. I think Fever's had a drama somewhere. Man with the DRS. This will be a fairly easy overtake. They switch positions then, so Man on 6-lap old softs, Aaron on 12-lap old mediums. The battle is not over yet. Those soft tyres will now be going off a little bit. So if Aaron can stay with him, it might come back to him yet, but we've only got 3 laps to go. Then we're on lap 25, or these guys are coming around to start lap 25. Aaron still has DRS. Is he close enough to make a move into turn 2? The DRS is open. He's closing. Showing himself in the mirrors, but not close enough. Matman will hold position for now. Brutus still hanging on resolutely to the back of Scuba Steve. We have a yellow flag in sector 2. Oh, is that a Mako? And the Mako having a spin then. He was in a bit of no man's land, so he hasn't lost any places. Casey closing in. And Aaron trying to hold on resolutely to the back of Matman then. Meanwhile up front, race leader has managed that gap supremely, still 4.2 seconds then. He's not let it get too close. There is Daft Chip in the background. He's just not been able to exert enough pressure. But still 1.5 laps to go. Peterson has just slipped out of DRS range of Scuba Steve. 2 laps to go, as long as he can stay within 3 seconds. Big twitch off the curb there though. Here comes Aaron and Matt. This battle rages on. Soft tyres are probably a little bit past their best now. So there is the opportunity here. Aaron might be able to come back at Matt in these final 2 laps. They can stay with him. Half a second between them. He continues to close. Put the pressure on then. Just dropping back a little bit further from Scuba Steve. Just needs to keep that gap. You see Bruce has got literally no energy left there. At the end of the straight, he is burning his battery. Try and stay with him. Scuba Steve has not got too much more. The race leader then coming around to start the final lap of the race. The battle further back then. So unsafe release on the back of Katowice. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. It's Casey Bernard, I think. Oh, actually, it might have been Feber getting out of the way. So, turn the light. And Aaron still duking it out. Coming around to start the final lap then. You can see that Aaron has not been dropped there, so Matt's tyres not giving him that advantage anymore. Aaron is still very much in touch here. If he can get within about half a second out this final corner, he was in with a good... Oh, big moment out the final corner. And that just lets Matman pull away. Bredish Daddy gets a move done on Pagani. I think Pagani might be carrying a little bit of light wing damage. He's not offering too much resistance. And so the battle that was shaping up for the final lap, Aaron's having a big twitch at the final corner as he tried hard to get the power down. And unfortunately, that means he's now lost touch with Matman now, so barring a mistake, Matman looks to be safe in P7. Katowice unsafe, still battling hard. Unsafe's had a really good run through turn 1. To the outside he goes with the DRS. Gets the move done. Right, overtake from him, but out of the final corner. It is pole position and a victory for Barcelona 1975-06. Great drive from him. Daft Chip comes home, P2. Great drive from him. Then the battle for P3 is still on. There's 1/10 of a second in it. Scuba Steve crosses the line. The gap is 2.6. Brutus is going to get back ahead. He does by just over 0.3 of a second. Garni and Brett. Oh, Brett's got round to the final lap. Drama for him. Adamako has no front wing on the final lap, so he's had a drama somewhere. He's just going to hang on to P5 though. Casey Bernard will come across for P6. Matman crosses the line P7. Aaron will cross for P8. A battle going on between Academies and Unsafe on the final lap. Academies has got him back. They're side by side. Unsafe around the outside. Pagani out across the line in P9. Bread recovering from that spin on the final lap. He's going to come in P10. It's going on the battle behind. Unsafe ahead through the penultimate corner, ahead through the final corner, across the line P11. But I think Academies is going to jump him on penalties. He does. T. Smith coming across the line P13. And Fever has already finished, so 14 of 16 across the line. Adamako gets a driver of the day despite finishing with no front wing. We're on the back of the grid. No worries, thanks for tuning in, Daniel. Appreciate the support then. So it is Barcelona who takes the victory on his first start of the season. Daft Chip comes home P2, great effort from him. And Brutus just held on for P3 there. Scuba Steve not quite able to pull far enough away at the end there. Just 0.3 of a second separating him from a podium. Having started P10, but still a great drive from him. And so then the full classified results are as follows. It is Barcelona 1975-06 who picks up the win there. That penalty there not costing him in the end. Daft Chip, great effort from him, up into P2. Brutus Beer coming home on the podium in P3. Scuba Steve just missing out after that penalty denied him. Great drive up from P10. Adamako crosses the line in P5, minus the front wing. Just holding off Casey Bernard, who finishes 6th with Matman 7th. Aaron Chucker 8th after we denied that last lap battle. Brezzi gets P9 after he jumped Pagani on penalties. They round out 9 and 10 with T. Smith, Academies, Unsafe and Fever rounding out the finishers. Aaron and Chubbs the retirements. Fastest lap going to Academies, and so he had the pace, just didn't have the look. And that then is the end of F1 action for this week, but it doesn't doesn't finish the racing action here on FTRL this week. We have got our GT Sport League tomorrow, GT 14. This week coming to you from Lago Maggiore Grand Prix circuit. Please do join Switchback as we tackle 3 races of 20 minutes around the beautiful flowing Italian circuit. F1 is back next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Round 3 coming from Paul Ricard. It is the French Grand Prix next week. And ACC is back on Monday. Unfortunately, there's no live stream on the FTRL channel, but you can find various FTRL drivers' personal streams. This week's, or next week's races rather, coming from Alton Park. So a trip to the British circuit. Provided some great racing last season in the Ginettas. How will we get on with the GT3 races? This week's races were some good fun. Yeah, there was some drama going on as well, but still some good racing to be had. So if you haven't already liked the stream before you go, please do so. That helps us out immensely. Thank you very much for tuning in. My podium prediction was miles out. I got the first one right, and I got the third. Well, I got 2 of the drivers right in the wrong order. I got 1 right, so 1 out of 3 isn't bad. But yeah, that's the end of it for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you again Tuesday and Wednesday next week for round 3 from I'll say Mangicourt. I wish we were back at Mangicourt. It's a better circuit than Paul Ricard. We're at Paul Ricard, unfortunately. Yeah, so back next week for Paul Ricard. We will see you again on FTRL real soon.